Jaguars Texans, just as a game, okay? You have my attention because that saved us in the early slate. Without much else going on, Jags Texans was more than enough to keep that thing entertaining throughout as we had to live through Panthers Titans and Giants Patriots and everything else that was going on. But that was a hell of a game in Houston, and I cannot wait to watch these teams play against each other a lot more here over the next few years.
You know how like teams will claim, be America's team and all that. That felt like America's game. That was that really felt like it felt like all of us were together.
It's adorable that you think that. That was the athletic football show game. You think some random football fan who's like a huge Seahawks fan was like, man, I can't fucking wait to watch Texans Jags today.
They should.
They should, but I think that you're.
It's up to everyone that listens to
excited
to pound the table. But no, I meant more that it's because it wasn't just like a ton of juicy game slate. So it's like a lot of people going like, maybe that Seahawks fan was going, well, I guess I'll watch this. A lot of teams, I just 49ers fan just won that game. What else can I check out? 10 a.m. game. Oh, let's see what this Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud are all about. They are on a Thursday game where they were in terrible uniforms. But it was two very good quarterbacks going at it. That's first and foremost. I think that's very apparent. Anyone to watch it. Both exceptional moving in the pocket. Even if Stroud took 4 sacks, he was phenomenal.
It could have been twice that. It could have been twice that. I thought one of the stories of the game to me is that we were talking about the Texans front and how they had come on a little bit over the last 3-4 games. The Jags front consistently outplayed them in this game. And I also thought that Trevor had more time in the pocket than I thought he might coming into this game. So I thought the Jags won up front on both sides of the ball. And it was a very, not even a quiet, but it was it had a subtle impact on this game. It made a difference over the course of 4 quarters for why the Jaguars ended up winning.
Texans running backs ran 11 times for 32 yards and 14 of those came on one play. So wasn't that, they
had a 22% success rate on early down runs in this game, 22%.
And as much as this team can chuck it, and boy, do they do want to throw those jabs. And that kind of helps keep them on schedule.
It's part of the formula. It's like they want to do that because they want the heavy boxes. We talked about this in the preview show. It's just you have to figure out the right mix of it. Like it can go too far in one direction or the other, but overall, it's the type of team they want to be. And the comparison that I think is easy to make is there have been years where the Niners haven't been super efficient running the ball on early downs, but it's who they are. And ultimately, when it comes out in the wash, playing that way makes you a more efficient team. The Texans led the league in EPA per dropback on first down, in part because of the boxes that they see in those situations.
Every team that we can think of this offense's offshoots, every good and bad, it's the struggles or the boon in the run game. The McVay Rams with Gurley, even with the Packers teams with those Rodgers winning MVP years, those were the run games. They had fun run games going, with Aaron Jones and Aaron Dillon going. So, but Stroud just was putting the team on his back. Having said that, just
unbelievable
because pressure. Creation. I compared my feeling or what I wanted to say to was I'm sure you have Lost World Jurassic Park, and Jeff Goldblum has his daughter, and she does the little gymnastics trick and kicks the Velociraptor, and he goes, "They cut you from the team," and I just that's watching Stroud run around like they didn't think you could create. Like
it's unbelievable.
It's his touchdown to Tank Dell running left. He throws. I couldn't believe how quickly he got that off. I was like, "Ooh, this could be a tough one." I could see what he was seeing, and I was like, "Oh, let's see how he gets to this." And he was like, "Boop boop, touchdown!" I couldn't believe it how quick he got that moving to his left. It was.
And the other touchdown that he threw to Nico Collins, he steps up in the pocket and finds him late in the down coming across the field. And there was a play on that drive where he finds Tank Dell for the touchdown that to me was my favorite play he had all game. First or second down, I can't remember. But there's pressure again pretty quickly. He steps up in the pocket, drifts to his left a little bit. There's a crosser coming back to his right. So he has to kind of reset and then throw back to his right. And the placement and the touch, everything. Watching the guy play quarterback is insane. Like he is so good already at all these little things. And each week there's like a new little present when you open the game. And this week, it was the creation stuff. Yeah. This week, it was him making plays off schedule, him extending in the pocket, him extending out of the pocket, him making a couple of plays as a scrambler. Every single week, it's a new little layer. And man, is it fun to watch.
Yes. I did think one of my favorite moments, though, it was actually the Jags defense getting after Stroud was he came up limping on a play. Like he kind of like a little ankle kind of thing. And the very next play, Mike Caldwell, he dialed up like a huge blitz and just like overwhelmed him. It was a 3rd and 6. But even though Stroud took a sack on this play, I thought it was pretty cool because it just kind of showed where his brain was at. He tried to like reverse out of this and he took the sack like behind him. It was like a 3rd and 6 late in the game. And on it, he was going to throw hot, but he saw Andre Sisco bearing down, which was a great play by him. So he's like, okay, I can't throw short of 6. That's what they want me to do. I just thought having the wherewithal to know I'm hot. So I know something's coming from my backside. So I'm going to try and circle out of it. He got caught, yes, in it. But it was like the fact that he was aware to do that is pretty sick. Like it's pretty awesome stuff. Like, and again,
was that the play where they did the full slide to the right?
Yeah. And then
they left Josh Allen untouched, which
yes.
I didn't, protection wise, it feels like the wrong choice in that moment. Would you agree to leave him unblocked?
Well, they're hot, so you have to pick one way full slide. So it's up to I don't know if it's quarterback or center there, but it's preference sometimes. Some guys want to not throw into the pressure. One of the guys was going to come clean on the edge. So it's up to
you had to pick
full left. Yeah. Do you throw into the pressure? Some quarterbacks prefer that, or like work around it. Like Lamar prefers that, or Herbert prefers that, or do you push it into the pressure and then have a guy on your backside and try and beat him with a throw? So it's just a preference thing. So they got gamed up. That's what I was saying. It was pretty.
Yeah.
Caldwell was bringing blitzes, and Stroud caught him a couple times, but then right at the very end, they kind of caught him back with a couple of those blitzes.
It was a back and forth. I mean, there was a play where I think he hit Collins on a slant where the anticipation was phenomenal, but there was a safety coming late, and he saw it. It was a 3rd down. He saw it a mile away. He hits it. It's a big completion. So I thought that back and forth, and we talked about that in the previous show.
Yeah,
what that little matchup would look like, the blitzes and kind of the complexities that Mike Caldwell can throw at you, and what Stroud has done against the blitz. So that was very cool to watch. I know that people are going to ask about the officials and some of the calls in this game, and of course there were some rough ones and some really kind of ticky-tack plays, where it's the defensive holding, the pass interferences down near the end zone. But there was one of the biggest plays of the game was a not called pass interference that led to an interception. Like, this is my stance on this. This will continue to be my stance on this. There are always going to be some brutal no calls, some things you disagree with over the course of a game. For the most part, this stuff comes out in the wash over the course of an entire season. And in this game specifically, you can argue that it came out in the wash in this game. That should have been a pass interference on that Ingram interception. So if that doesn't happen, then the Texans probably aren't even in spitting distance over the course of this one. So I don't have an issue. I'm not going to linger on how much the officials impacted the final outcome of the game.
It's I feel like you said, it evens out over time. It's just the game and clock management stuff that I'll lose my mind over, like what happened in the Chargers game tonight and the Ravens game tonight. But that is what makes me lose my mind. This is, like you said, it happens. It happens. And they were going after, the Jags offense was going after Tavier Thomas on purpose. Anytime in man coverage, if you're wondering why Christian Kirk caught all those overballs, like before the half and on the first drive early in the game, it was because anytime in man coverage, that's who they were attacking. They were going to attack the slot in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I think the official stuff just always. I do want to talk about the Jags offense though.
So let's talk about the Jaguars because you mentioned the crosser.
Yeah.
My favorite thing the Jags did in this game, we talked about it after last week. I wanted to see them continue to be aggressive, pushing the ball downfield on early down play action. And my goodness, were they in this game? 5 of 7 for 124 yards on play action on first down, 0.88 EPA per dropback. For context, highest in the league, typically around 0.2-ish, 0.22. So we're talking 4 times of Patrick Mahomes on early down play action, 17.7 yards per attempt. And just think in your mind, all the examples. Ridley on a huge one, Kirk on a huge one. They had a little boot to Bretton Strange that went for a chunk gain. Luke Farrell had one. Mm-hmm. So consistently on first down, they were being a little bit more aggressive. They still ran the ball a bunch for not a very efficient day on early downs, but you mix it in with those 7 dropbacks, 5 huge chunk plays. Those are a lot of the best plays they had today.
Yeah, and a lot of 12 personnel and 13 personnel, they're really leaning into it, and that's what a lot of those play action came out of. The boot to Luke Farrell was kind of like, that's exactly what this offense is leaning into now. Just heavy personnel, bootleg, shot plays, and check downs. They were in 13 personnel the second play of the game, and they went empty, and he attacked the middle. It was basically like if they got zone, they were attacking the middle. If they got man, I guess for attacking the middle, but it was Christian Kirk.
But on bigger crossers.
Bigger crossers. But that big moving routes or again on the outside, that Calvin Ridley got targeted a couple times in man. And yeah, I just thought they had a good game plan. Next Gen Stats, I think, tweeted this out, which was on throws that travel 10 or more air yards. Trevor Lawrence went 7 for 11 for 180 yards. So it was just like he was pushing the ball. He was attacking again over the middle. And at first I was getting frustrated by some of the side to sideness. They had that Travis Etienne swing screen route
they
designed
did it
once.
Twice on 3rd and long early in the game.
And
twice.
And then they popped one late. And I kind of got why they were doing it, because they were trying to put To'o on an island and make them really run side to side, the linebackers again. But it was one of those where it's like one missed block and that doesn't go anywhere. So didn't work out twice, but they got the 3rd one there. But I can see I'm liking a couple of weeks in a row now what the Jags are trying to do. It's been really good for them. And I think this is so sustainable.
Some of the routes that Calvin Ridley ran in this game, just absolutely disgusting. The one that he hit against Derek Stingley, I think it was 3rd and 6 on the right sideline, and he stems inside and then brings it back outside. It's a beautiful throw by Trevor at the sticks on 3rd down, which is a huge play in the game. And then down in the red zone, the touchdown and the 2-point, he's just going to work down there. So it is fun to all I want with him within this offense, just give me him off the line of scrimmage, a little bit closer to the formation every once in a while, because that's what I want to see. I want to see him just be able to have two-way goes and go to work on dudes in space rather than just working outside the numbers. And so them using him the way they have over the last couple of games, you can see what he can do. This is what he is capable of within this offense. And he really gives them so much juice when he's not George Pickens.
Right.
I just, that's not what I want. I don't need him to be that sort of player.
Again, he's a route runner. Trevor, we just gushed about Stroud. Trevor was fantastic today too. We also want to make sure that Trevor Lawrence, want to make sure emphasize that. And his chemistry with Calvin Ridley sometimes can just be, they missed on a go ball, went right off of Ridley's hands, but it was just like the release and that ball, but it was still just like, oh my God. Like Trevor Lawrence had another throw where he's breaking to the right and they complete it. I can't wait to see the end zone view of that one. They had a terrible replay of this one where it just barely beats the DB jumping over. But again, they kind of had this mind meld working and you could see glimpses of it and flashes of it. But now again, it looks just so much more like this feels real. Like this really does. That Texans team that defense is not easy. Like they're not the toughest unit, but they get after you. And the fact that they can just do this kind of stuff week in, week out, they're finding different answers. Calvin Ridley being one of them. It's pretty good. This is good for the Jags.
Last guy I wanted to shout out, Josh Allen had a really nice game again. Fantastic in what has been a really good season for him. So he comes unblocked on the first sack, but the sack he had in the final minute to kind of push them back behind the sticks when they missed the field goal, he just beats Laramie Tunsil on that play. And so again, I think he had double-digit pressures again in this game. He's been really, really good for them all season in a contract year, and he consistently showed up in huge moments. First drive of the game, he gets a holding call. He draws a holding call on the first drive of the game. So just all these little ways that he continues to show up has been really important for this defense playing the way that it has.
Yeah, they kept running him games with somebody else or with a linebacker blitzing.
Yeah,
and they're getting Tunsil and the running back because tackles and guards work together, centers and guards work together. Tackles and running backs don't really work together on picking up games. So that was I like that from the Jags. They were sprinkling that in today.